someone had choked her.
Daly immediately called for an ambulance and put out a description of the car he saw driving from the scene. After 3 years of frustration, could this be the break investigators were hoping for? After finding the body of an unconscious woman in the desert, Sheriff's Deputy Larry Daly rushed to his vehicle and called for help.
I also called out the description of the vehicle that I saw coming down the road towards me.
A short time later, this silver Honda was stopped by an officer who heard the call.
What I wanted to see was, I wanted to see a monster. I wanted to see this monstrous man, maybe someone with 3 arms, who came out and was abducting women and strangling them.
The driver was 41-year-old Ronald Porter, an automotive mechanic with a history of sexual offenses. The woman found unconscious in the desert survived her attack and was able to identify Porter as her attacker. Porter confessed to the attack, but would not admit to any of the other attacks over the past 3 years. Investigators believe Porter was responsible, and they also suspected that Porter had murdered Sandra Swick 3 months earlier. To find out if all these crimes were the work of one individual, San Diego authorities sought help from the FBI and their unit, which specializes in studying serial murderers.
That another offender would choose to abduct the same type of victim, bring it to the same type of location, do the same types of acts with them in the same locations, almost exact locations. It became pretty evident to us that the probabilities favored it being one person.
Larry Ankrum identified the remote desert dump sites as the signature element of all of the crimes. The attacker invested lots of time and effort into finding these remote locations. Another signature element was the type of women he chose.
He's making an assessment before he decides he's going to go ahead and ask her if she needs a ride. And when he's made that initial impression, then once he's decided, yeah, I can control this victim, then she gets in the car, and then it becomes somewhat of a game with him to get her where he wants to go.
The FBI was convinced that all of these crimes were indeed the work of the same individual. The next step was for San Diego authorities to prove that Ronald Porter committed these crimes.
Now you have to go back to your forensics, you know, your crime scenes, and you have him, you have his clothing, you have his shoes, you have his car. Now you're going to go out and get search warrants for his apartment or his house or his storage sheds, which we did.
The carpet fibers in Porter's car were microscopically similar to the red carpet fiber found on the blouse of Betty Bass. Tire tracks found at some of the crime scenes were similar to the print on the spare Michelin tire found in the trunk of Porter's car. And when searching Porter's apartment, police found shoes and boots with tread marks consistent with those found at some of the choke and dump crime scenes. A walkie-talkie discovered in Porter's storage shed belonged to a woman who was chosen